Are you sick and tired of having your grandma knit you stuff that you don't like? Well, today you can learn how to knit the left-handed way. If you want to knit yourself a scarf, which I will be teaching you today, you'll need 2 needles, size 10, and a skein of yarn. It can be this size, or twice as long, and a pair of scissors. To begin making the scarf, you want to take a piece of yarn and make it as long as your arm. So from that point, you want to take your right hand and clench it like this, and bring the yarn so it's like this. Cross one part of the yarn over so that it makes an X. Bring your hand down and grab the lower one and pull it so that it begins to make a slip knot. If you pull the other part of the string, it'll make the loop tinier so that you can put it around a knitting needle. And if you grab the other one, it'll just make the other loop tighter. Now that you have one knot on your knitting needle, you'll want to make 19 to 21 knots, depending on how thick you want your scarf to be. So to make more knots, or to cast on, you'll want to take your thread and clench your hands just like this. The 2 threads you will grab with the rest of your fingers and then pull the needle down to make a V with the thread. You'll take the needle and poke your thumb, and you'll take the outer loop and stretch it. And go to your index finger and take that loop and then go back to your thumb and pull. So you'll do that again. You'll make a V, go to your thumb, go underneath, pull that loop, cross over to your index finger, and pull, and go back to your thumb, and then pull both threads. Make a knot, a regular knot, and try to get it as close to the yarn. So now that you've finished one end of the scarf, you'll take your other knitting needle and put it under the first loop of your needle and spread it just like this. You'll take the bit of yarn that's attached to the skein, not the tail, and wrap it counterclockwise around the needle without the loops. Now you'll pull this needle under the original loop and just slide it off the first needle. And you'll continue to do this. We'll put it under the second loop, the next loop, take the yarn, wrap it around counterclockwise, and bring it underneath and pull. After hours and hours of knitting, you'll begin to develop what looks like to be a scarf. For now, I've just done a couple rows of the pattern that it should kind of begin to look like. You'll want to take your knitting needle again, and just like casting on, you'll take the loop, spread it apart, wrap the yarn counterclockwise around the empty needle, and bring one loop out. Now you'll do this again with a second loop. You'll wrap it and slide it off the needle. But for casting off, you want to have one loop on this knitting needle. So you'll take this needle and you'll loosen the first loop on here. It's a bit hard to tell, but you'll want to eventually cross the first loop, this one, over the second one, and you'll begin to slide. You don't want the second loop to slide off the needle, but you'll wanna get that loop just over the other one so that it just makes one loop. So once you get to one last loop, you can just kind of slide it off and just tie another double knot. So with your pair of scissors, you'll cut the extra thread and you have finished your scarf. You can knit gifts for people. Knitting can be a good stress relief, or you can knit for yourself, or just not knit at all. You know, it's your choice. References as to how to cast on or off, or how to make a slip knot, I went to Expert Village on YouTube.